Hello, I'm Jamila Musayeva, an international etiquette consultant and author of etiquette books and pre-recorded online etiquette courses. In today's video, we're going to talk about cell phone etiquette. This is actually one of the most intriguing topics in etiquette, particularly in business etiquette as well as in social etiquette, as to what is the correct way to call, how do I handle a call, when exactly to call, or do I have to call? So all of these questions will be answered in this video. The very first rule of cell phone etiquette is preferably don't call. I am someone who hates getting calls. I do not like receiving calls, especially when it's a busy working day, and let alone hours when you're not supposed to get any calls, or you are doing something important and amidst it you're getting a call from an unknown number. So calls are something that I think should only be reserved for circumstances or situations where it's so urgent, or so it's an emergency situation where you cannot have the leisure of time to wait until the receiver gets back to you. So really, calls are something in the time of direct messaging, in the time of WhatsApp, in the time of voice notes. It is something that should be reserved for extremely important situations where you know that if you don't receive answer by now, it's death and life circumstance. Otherwise, opt to send a message, send a voice note, send a WhatsApp, an email, anything else but a call. Now, let's say that you really did have to make the call. Then there is one golden rule of cell phone etiquette that still is true today, despite of other things that have changed with the emergence of WhatsApp and voice notes. The one rule that hasn't changed is that you can only wait for 3 ringback tones to ring. So it's, if you make a call, you hear 1 beep, second, third, and then you hung up. You do not incessantly call someone and wait for them to respond. If you see someone hasn't responded within 3 ringback tones, then it's time to hang up. Text them. Ask them, I gave you a call. It's something that I need to discuss with you urgently. Please call back. You cannot keep on ringing the phone over and over again. There's really like 3 chances that you have. So you can call 3 times within the interval of time of 1 minute, 2 minutes, and only 3 ringback tones. Say the phone was in my bag, I wasn't able to reach it, so I didn't hear you call. You call me back in another minute or 2, and then if I'm available, I'll pick it up. Because I have had cases when I was working, it was either a business meeting or a shooting time, and there would be someone from a store, from someone who wanted to discuss a project with me. They would continuously call me without hanging up, to the point that I wasn't able to reach out the phone. So I was perhaps shooting a YouTube video and I had to reshoot the whole thing because throughout the whole time the phone was ringing somewhere in the background. It is really important to respect other people's duties, work, schedule. So if you really need to make the call, you really decided to do that shot, to call that shot, then only dial for 3 times and then hang up and text. So texting is the third important rule that has to be put in place when we are talking about cell phone etiquette. If you want to make a call, say it's super urgent, you don't have the time to text, you call, you get an answer. If you do have the luxury of giving that person the time to respond, then it's important to text the person first and make an appointment for a call. So you text XYZ and say, hey, I really want to talk to you. This is something that is really important and I would love to have your immediate reaction, or I would love to, discuss this over the phone because it's not something we can discuss over text. When is the best time to call you? Always ask the receiver as to what is the convenient time for them, because you're calling them to ask for whatever advice, opinion from them. It's an urgent matter for you, it might not necessarily be an urgent matter for them. In that case, since it is your urgency, you have to schedule an appointment with them. And this is important to keep in mind, because if you want to start off on a good foot with someone, disturbing their schedule, disturbing their maybe leisure time, their relaxation time, their work time, and trying to get their advice or opinion will already start you off on a negative, say, relationship with them. For the security reasons, for the reasons of starting off on a good foot, it's important to text first, ask for the best time to call, and then call when they have the time to receive it. The fourth important cell phone etiquette rule is always let the receiver know, so whoever is going to receive your call, let them know for how long you're going to occupy their time. Nowadays, when we are constantly bombarded with social media, digital platforms, being surrounded by so many people at work, off work, it's so important that we are able to manage our time properly. And for that, we don't have the leisure to hang on the phone with someone for an hour because they want to discuss whatever they want to discuss. It's really important that we respect our time and they respect the time of others. And for that, it's always important to let the receiver know for how long you're going to occupy them on the line. Say, either in your message, mention this, or when you're given a call, let them know, say, hi, is this an appropriate time to talk to you? I would love 10 minutes of your time to discuss this XYZ project. I think it's best if we can talk about it over the phone. Or if you're already calling, tell them, I'm going to take you only 5 minutes of your time. I would like to get your advice on this issue. So it's really important that you let the person know for how long they're going to be on the phone with you. Maybe they were amidst something, maybe they're about to eat their soup and it's going to cool down. So is it 5 minutes that they need to wait, or is it 30 minutes that they need to wait? So maybe they could say, you know what, I'm about to have my lunch. Let me have my lunch and give me a call back in like 30 minutes and we can talk. Or maybe if it's just 5 minutes, they can give you their opinion and then continue having their lunch. So it's always important to note the amount of time you're going to occupy. The next important etiquette rule regarding calls is that the call should be made only during office hours. You can't call someone before or after office hours. If you know their office hours, if they don't have an office hour, they're a freelancer, then use your common sense. So don't call before 9 or 10 a.m. or anywhere after 6 or 7 p.m. depending on who you're working with. It's always good to ask the person what is the best time or time slots within the week to give you a call, and they'll let you know what time hours they have throughout the day to receive a call. So calls are in a way intrusive to person's life in a more, loud way than is WhatsApp or email or voice notes. This is something that we get to check when we have time and we can respond at our own pace. With calls, when you receive a call, it usually means that you have to respond pretty much immediately or react to it faster. Which brings me to the next point, which I think is the rule for everyone these days. If a matter can be discussed over email, if it can be discussed over WhatsApp, if it can be discussed over voice note, there is no need to call. Make a checklist, like, can I discuss this over this, and that? If everything is checked off, then the only medium of interaction is call. Make a call, but text before giving a call. Otherwise, if it can be discussed through all the other channels, then use those. The next important etiquette rule regarding calls is, if you are the one who initiated the call, you are the one responsible for ending the call. I know situations where people, are on the phone online and they are just almost playing like a ping pong as to who's going to hang up the phone first. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. And because everyone feels weird about hanging up a phone, which is a common fear we all have. So your duty as the one who initiated the call is to end the call. And by that, you always let the person know how long you're going to occupy their time. You say, I would love to talk to you about this issue for the next 10 minutes. And then when the 10 minutes are up, you would say, thank you so much for this call. I really appreciate that you had the time to respond. Have a lovely weekend. Bye. You are the one who initiated, so you are the one who has to end it. It's almost like same with paying the bill at the restaurant. If you are the one who invited the person to dinner or lunch, you are the one that has to handle the bill. The same way goes for calls. The next important etiquette rule regarding receiving or making calls is making the person know that they are on speakerphone. I have witnessed a lot of awkward situations where the person giving or receiving a call didn't know that they were on a speakerphone and said a lot of things that shouldn't be said, that probably overshared, because mind you, when someone's giving you a call, they're only wanting to share this information with you. And when you put them on a speakerphone and there are others in the room, they might hear something that should not have been heard by others. So it's respectful and important for the privacy of you and that person that you let them know that they're on a speakerphone. Say you are driving a car and your phone is connected to Bluetooth in the car, and say your mom is calling you and you're driving with your friend Joanna, and your mom calls and she has something to share with you. Maybe it's private about her, maybe it's private about your dad or your family, or maybe it's something about Joanna that she wanted to ask you about, something that shouldn't be heard by Joanna. So you have to let your mom know. Say, hey mom, I'm in the car with Joanna and you're on speakerphone. We're listening. And then she decides what she wants to share over the phone. The next etiquette rule also has to do with privacy, and that is whenever you are receiving a call or making a call, especially if it's something that could be around a sensitive topic or something intimate or something that is very private to you, opt to make a call in private. So if you are, say, in a room with your colleagues talking about something, and then your spouse calls or your parent calls or someone from school calls, whatever it might be, excuse yourself, step out to receive a call and try to make it in a more private environment, because we never know what we're going to talk about. Maybe a spouse is calling, we're not really sure what they're going to tell us, and so maybe we might have certain emotions or we might have certain questions that we want to ask. We really want to make sure that there's no one around watching us when it's something private to be discussed. I think the same should be done if you're in public and you're on the phone talking to whoever you're talking to. Make sure that your conversation cannot be overheard by others, because truth is, a lot of conversations are overheard. And even when you think like no one is hearing you, if you're in a cafe seated next to other people and there is music playing in the background, trust me, if you are on the phone with someone and you're probably one of the very few people on the phone, people eavesdrop, people hear what you're talking about. So if you are talking about something super private, then it's best for you to step out, maybe use the bathroom, go step outside to the street and handle your call in private. And lastly, speaking of privacy and speaking of just call etiquette, it is really important that when you talk, you're mindful of the volume of your voice. You really have to make sure that you are not speaking like you want to make sure that the other person hears you, because trust me, if you're using a phone, most likely they're hearing you, and there's no need to shout or speak in loud volumes to make sure that they can hear you. If you are somewhere loud, step out into more silent space, into more quiet space where you can speak to that person. Same goes with the person who's giving you a call. If they're outside and it's windy, if there are, somewhere where it's super loud, ask them to step into some more quiet place so they can give you a call and you can actually hear what they're saying. There was, I think, the joke when someone asked, like someone was speaking very loud on the phone and the person was like, why are they not using a phone to talk? And it was funny because the reference was that they were speaking so loud as if they're not using a phone. If you're using a phone, people can hear you. Just make sure that you are in a more quiet environment or room, which is why it's important that you step out from a public venue into more quieter space to handle the call. Thank you so much for watching this video until the very end. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give a thumbs up so I know what kind of content you enjoy to watch, and please do let me know down in the comment section below what are some more video suggestions that you have for me. I always love taking notes on your suggestions. Also, if you're interested in learning more in depth about etiquette, you can order my etiquette books that are available for international shipment on my website. I'll link it here as well in the description box below, and you can join my 2 pre-recorded online etiquette courses. One is called Western Formal Dining Etiquette from A to Z, that takes you through video tutorials about how to get into the car, out of the car, into the restaurant, how to handle yourself at a formal dinner table, how to eat your soup, your starters, your dessert. And the second course is called The Art of Entertaining at Home, which teaches you how to set up a table according to 4 different seasons, how to wrap gifts. I think it's a perfect course to get when you're about to learn how to host. So both of these courses actually give you a certificate of completion, and they're also available on my website. And if you want to learn even more in depth about etiquette and you want to be able to understand all the interesting aspects of it, you can join my Etiquette Movie Club, which is available on my Patreon. And there, every month, I publish etiquette review of different kind of movies, from Hollywood to European to independent. So far, I've done over 4 different movie analysis. And by joining the Patreon Etiquette Movie Club now, you can have access to all those movie reviews. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!